Hey guys, this is Matt,
And Megan.
and we're here doing a review of Fable III. This game is set in the fictional world of Albion, the setting of the first two Fable games. In this game, you are the son or daughter of the hero from Fable 2 who became the king or queen of Albion after the events of the second game.
And you have a brother who is the current king of Albion, and he is corrupting the kingdom. So you decide to leave, and you bring with you a whole posse of people. You have your mentor, Sir Walter, your butler, Jasper, and of course, your trusty canine companion.
Woo dog.
So you travel through Albion, recruiting allies, and basically forming your army, and you're gonna go attack the castle and overthrow your brother. And thus the gameplay begins.
Fable 3, like its predecessors, is an action RPG, semi open world. The game was definitely more condensed in a lot of ways, not nearly as much as you can do, such as in Fable 2. Their goal was to cut out menus, so instead of having menus, like an actual pause menu, there's the Sanctuary, which you'll see a little bit in this gameplay, and there's no like level up screen. There's something called the Road to Rule, where you open chests to unlock your new abilities, which include abilities in strength, which is like your health and physical combat, will, which is your magic, and skill, which is your skill with guns.
Personally, I found the lack of menus and the addition of the sanctuary and the road to a rule a lot easier to follow.
I thought it was unnecessary.
Well, you're just wrong.
So, what are some other things that you liked about this game, Megan?
Well, I really enjoyed the aspect that allows you to customize your character, and it even goes so far as to allow you to dye your hair and dye your clothes, and it let you put your own personal spin on the game, and I really enjoyed that.
It was pretty in depth that you could dye each individual piece of clothing, different layers and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So that's
And
cool.
and your weapons and stuff changed depending on how you customize your character and the choices you made in the game.
That was cool. I liked that too.
And of course, I liked the dog. Of course.
Of course you would. The dog's also in Fable 2 though, and I'm not really sure what. I mean, maybe he's a little bit better at pathfinding in
The
this one.
mechanics are much better for the dog in Fable 3. I thought.
How?
It was smoother. I don't know.
Oh, I guess it doesn't have the command wheel kind of thing from Fable 2.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Okay.
And this last thing is kind of superficial, but the combat looked super cool.
I'm not sure how I really feel about the combat. I liked the sort of casualness of it in that it didn't have a whole lot of like strategy or like commitment to like memorizing combos or anything.
Which was good for a relatively new gamer like myself.
But well, it did have those cool like melee finishing moves every once in a while.
Yeah, when it randomly freezed on what you were doing to your victim.
And probably the other thing I say I really liked about the game is the casualness of it. Sometimes I don't want to play a game that's going to be super mentally taxing and super difficult. Fable 3 by no means is a difficult game in any sense of the word, but it's still fun, and it doesn't need to have that huge curveball learning curve to be fun. And then the humor, with the Britishisms and stuff like that is pretty spot on sometimes, and it's made me chuckle. It was just a very relaxing way to just kind of kick back, play a game that was fun at the end of a long day.
It may not have been challenging gameplay wise, but it was definitely challenging mentally. I think morality, that sort of thing.
Oh, with some of the choices that they make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going into that,
One thing I didn't really like about the game is that the morality plays a role in the ending, which makes sense. But when I played the game, I was set up for the quote-unquote perfect ending with no villagers dying and all that good stuff, but it was just underwhelming.
definitely. In terms of effort expended, definitely very underwhelming.
Effort expended versus rewards gained.
Yeah, definitely not balanced there.
I just hated having a kid. It was the most annoying thing in the gameplay.
I mean, that was your choice, though. Like, you knew the, repercussions of your actions and what could happen.
I didn't realize it'd be so annoying.
That's kind of the truth of keeping any relationships with any of the villagers in the game, though. It just requires a stupid amount of upkeep to keep them happy.
It's like a freaking Tamagotchi.
Yeah, except a British one. In terms of what I didn't really like about the game, there's not nearly as much to do, as I said before, as there was in Fable 2. This game loses a lot of its depth in their effort to make it appeal to a little bit more of a casual audience, which is fine, I guess. But for me personally, and probably for the more, at least someone who's played Fable 2, the gamer who's played Fable 2 anyway, it's definitely just probably seen as just kind of a loss of features. It's interesting in that they decided to go that route. There was more customization in Fable 2 and maybe even Fable 1, but I wasn't a huge fan of that.
But like Fable 2, the characters get easily caught behind objects and corners and things.
That's super fun. I don't think it was quite as bad as Fable 2, because Fable 2, that like temple where she's getting the water, I was like stuck, like spazzing in that corner, but like
Yeah.
getting through doorways and stuff, especially in Fable 3 anyway, getting through doorways and narrow passages is still kind of a pain in the butt. I can't speak to if that's maybe the same online because each player would have independent control of their camera, but you know. I also thought the ambition to not have any sort of menu screens, while an interesting idea, kind of fell flat because the whole road to rule thing and the having no pause screen, aka the sanctuary, while it sort of makes sense to casuals, it just adds to a lot more time wasted. Whereas if I wanted to save the game, if there was a normal pause screen, I would hit start, go to save. But in this, I have to hit start, have it load for a couple seconds, go to the sanctuary, walk over to where I want it to save, hit A, then get a mini menu, hit save, have it save. Then when I back out, have to have it load a little bit again to get me back to the main world. It just took up a lot more time.
I think you're just overthinking it. And I think we're going to have to agree to disagree because I really prefer the sanctuary. I mean, in terms of buying land and customizing your character and choosing your weapons, it was a lot easier to see what you were actually doing versus looking at a menu with a whole list of things.
So you prefer it to be more visual
I
than.
do. I do.
I also want to say that while the game's goal of teaching you what it's like to be a leader and have to make the tough decisions in order for the greater good, this is kind of like a really high ambition, but I think they just missed the mark. I understand what they were trying to go for, but some of the decisions are so absurdly black and white, like create a brothel or build an orphanage. Like there wasn't a lot of it was really black and white. Like this is obviously good and this is obviously bad, but the obviously bad one will give you some more gold, and you need gold in order to achieve the good ending in the game. So life isn't always as black and white, but maybe that's what they needed because it was a very high ambition that they had for just a simple video game, really.
Well, the challenge came because the gold in the end was meant to save the people. So the decision on the surface may seem black or white, but when you really think about it, you're getting more gold from the brothel, for instance, and that gold's going to turn around and save the people in the end. So it's not really that black and white. And I don't think I really understand what it's like to be a ruler, but I don't, first of all, I don't think any game could teach you that. Second of all, the game did make me think about some things. So I think to a certain extent it did reach that goal.
So overall, what are your thoughts on the game?
I think you should definitely play it. I think it's worth it.
I would agree, especially since you can probably find this pretty cheap now. Actually, probably very cheap. It's 3 years old now, and if you had Xbox Live Gold and you were paying attention about, I guess that was a month ago now, you could have got it for free. So if it's just sitting there on your hard drive and you haven't played it, yeah, give it a shot. Especially if you got a friend to go through it with. I think
It's a good time killer.
it is, and I mean, like I said, this isn't a hard game in any sense of the words, but it's fun. It didn't feel like a drag really at any point. We wanted to play it, we wanted to complete it. So I mean, it gets a solid recommendation from me as well, despite some of its flaws.
And if you're potentially new to gaming, this is a great introduction to RPGs.
Yeah, I would like to mention that too. If there's someone that you're trying to get interested into RPGs or just gaming in general, this is a very, very good jumping off point.
So, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on our next video.
Thanks for watching, guys.